All right, so with cat butt firmly in focus, yeah, you can let everyone hear your voice. It's very pretty. By the way, I love, love, love. If you take a look, she has one black foot right there in the back. It's just solid black, and everything else is nice and spotted. Beautiful. Beautiful and chaotic. I wouldn't be surprised if you somehow shift colors as you just continually shed. If I were to take photos of you, I bet your blobs just sort of move around. Catbutt, the next enemy NPC we create. Yep, oh, thank you. Alright. Thank you, Nisa. Yep. So, similar, actually very similar to NPCs, because villains are NPCs. Lo and behold, I know it sounds weird, right? Your cat's also a tortie, but she's got more dark than Nisa. Ah. Oh, yeah. There's some very beautiful dark tortoiseshell calicos. Meow? Oh, listen to that chirp. She kind of has a trill more than a meow. Now, the adventure villain is going to get a couple extra steps on top of the NPCs that we've created. And if you recall from the last part, we created a bunch of the random rolls first and then said, all right, so how would a character like this fit into the environment? And then we drew a character from the environment and just applied... thank you, ma'am. And just applied things to it. So, same thing. Let's open up our DMGs. We are at the adventure villain prompt on page 74. This villain we're creating is 15. A humanoid schemer seeking to rule. Humanoid schemer seeking to rule. Now, on 94, we have a list of villain schemes. I'm going to roll a D8. And from that, there may be... Hey. None of that. You're better than that. You're better than that. Thank you. Let's roll a D8. 2. Influence. Well, we do have a schemer, right? And what kind of influence? Let's roll a D4. 3. Win favor with a powerful individual. Alright, so this would seem... Maybe this is more like a sub-boss or someone who's very subversive. A worm tongue, if you will. From Lord of the Rings. Now, what is the method that this person uses to pursue his or her objective or scheme? There's a D20 that has some sub-rolls to it, or at least some of them do. 18. Torture. And in particular, 1. Acid. Oh my. So we have someone who wants to win favor with a powerful individual, and the method for doing so is torture overall, but specifically this character deals in acid. And this, of course, opens up, well, where does this person get acid? How is it hidden or used? Or, is it magically conjured? Or what's going on here? And, of course, even we can get back to the villain's history. Why acid of everything? Is it an obsession? Is it something that just was a natural occurrence? No, we'll find out. Now, this villain does have a weakness of some kind. More lobbyists for Big Pharma, says Big Sam. Also, Big Sam, if I didn't say hi to you, then I owe you a howdy, and thank you for thank you for stopping by, as we're having a very cat-filled... Yes. we're having a very cat-filled, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. I love you. You know this. This is non Khaleesi. Alright, you gonna calm down? Simmer down now. Simmer down now. Alright, what is our villain's weakness? 8. And we rolled an 8. The villain loses its power if a mystic bargain it struck long ago is completed. The villain loses its power if a mystic bargain it struck long ago is completed. Now, we can take this prompt in a lot of different directions. This is giving us actually a very good starting point to run with an idea. Is it quite literally a mystic bargain? Or is this, you know, do we have a subversive individual that is actually trying to corrupt the religious leader of the town that we generated? And that's how the villainy is taking hold. Interesting. Eat the cursed sandwich. Now, occupation and history, I'm going to save for last with this character because we don't know that yet. We're going to go through and do, on top of the villainous prompts, we're also going to be filling in details for this villain as an NPC because that's what villains are. Villains are very much NPCs. Actually, I have to go up. Or I'm just going to open the index and go to creating non-player characters. Man, so much cat hair. My goodness. I'm glad I'm not allergic, but ee. Now, what's a prominent part of this character's appearance? We're going to roll a d20 and find out. 15. Unusual hair color. Unusual hair color. How could that manifest? Is it unusual for the region because maybe a lot of the natives all appear similar? You know, because in different parts of the world, you'll have populations that share very common traits. When it comes to eye color, hair color, even, I mean, we're talking about hair in particular, but, you know, height, weight, other statistics. But this person has an unusual hair color. Now, we could just say something like, it's pink, or blue, or green. But I want to continue. Let's continue down the way and find out, perhaps, what makes this character's hair unusual. Neon pink, says Shukan. The abilities that this villain has. The high ability is such, and the low ability is such. We're going to roll 2d6. 3 and 3. Well, they can't be the same. That would be kind of weird. 3 and 1. High constitution, low strength. High constitution, low strength. Well, we're dealing with someone who works around acids. That maybe there's something involved there, or otherwise, this might indicate that we have someone who, like an alchemist of some kind. There's a lot of ways that we can take this information. Hey, English Mudkip, welcome. Neon green like acid. Oh, so the hair color is like an acidic green. We have like a Joker character or something going on. We're doing very well, English. It's been a very fun night. And you're catching us as we're just starting to make this villain. Now, what's a talent? You may say, well, hold on. A villain has a talent? Of course. Monologuing, playing an instrument, has a talent for art. Think of James Bond villains. Think of a lot of other villains that are, you know, their talent is petting their cat menacingly. I don't know. Let's find out this one's. 7. Great at solving puzzles. Now, the dungeon prompt that we received was that it is a maze. So what could be keeping this character from entering the maze, but perhaps figuring some clues out? In fact, this character, as a villain, may very well be playing the party, and is using the party to go through the maze, perhaps with his or her help. Because physically that character can't exist in there, or can't be seen in there, or something along those lines. There might be an interesting appearance if we're talking about this Hall of Mirrors in this giant sort of mystical crystal that's at the top of the peak of this Caldera Lake. That might reveal that, in truth, this villain is actually a... whatever. Their scalp was burned when they were a child. Now their hair grows in at weird angles and extreme curls. Like Goldfinger, says Big Sam. And he can also make great puzzles. Exactly, English Mudkip. And, of course, you throw out those puzzles to distract people from your clever schemes. Now, what is the a mannerism? It doesn't have to be the. What is a mannerism of this character? Roll a d20. 20. Twirls hair or tugs beard. Always twirling the brightly colored curls. The unusually colored hair seems to be a bit of an obsession. Oh, all right. So yeah, maybe the maze in the crystal could be something along those lines. I heard things English, but I didn't actually watch it. Now, how does he interact with other people? I mean, he's a schemer, we know this. But there might be a public face or a professional face this person puts on. Let's roll a d12. 11. Very quiet. Interaction with others maybe makes them get really close. Because, unlike that NPC, he speaks very calmly. Very quietly. Please. Please, won't you... No, Dean, my voice is a little strained, you see. And I just needed to express that I'm disappointed. Yeah, I'm sorry, a little closer. I'm a little disappointed with you. You see, you have failed me in what I've asked to do. I'm a forgiving person. And so, I only will provide this as recompense. Acid to the face. Could be a politically connected alchemist. Absolutely, Big Sam. We're talking a volcanic caldera. There's definitely chemicals and things that are churning up that could be made into acids and poisons and such. English says, so Smash Ultimate now has Terry Bogart from Fatal Fury, and Sans Gunner outfit for the Me with a remix of Megalovania. Oh, interesting. Yeah, or this is an influencer that is talking to a guild of alchemists. Exactly. Now, what's some useful knowledge this person has? Well, again, this is kind of the black box, right? This is our villain as a DM. We're not really working in an overarching story as we're just building into a dungeon. Though, this is something to think about. What are a couple interesting nuggets of knowledge that this character may actually be willing to share or have be tortured or intimidated out of him in return? Now, his ideal. Why is he doing all of this? And yes, we could have a good ideal, absolutely. Let's roll 2d6. 4 and 4. So good, evil, lawful, chaotic. 1, 2, 3, 4. Independence. This character is doing the scheming to try and free himself and maybe others that are a part of a group that follows him, or just in general, he sees himself as a freedom fighter in some way. You know, trying to infiltrate the government, bring it down from the inside. Somebody stole his cream puff, says Big Sam. And now, what about his bond to the world around him? The book is 50. And if you want the spell cards to go with it, I think the spell cards are $20-ish? Question mark? I'd have to look at the price tag at the store to get back to you on the cards, but the book should be 50. Now, the bond that he has to the world is 4. Loyal to a benefactor, patron, or employer. Roll a d3. Loyal to a benefactor. So someone is going to profit off of the seeds of chouse that he is sowing and splashing with all of this acid and torture to try and scheme and manipulate this society. I should, unless there's a run on them, I usually carry 2 of each book. So you just let me know which books you want, and there's a good chance that I have them at any point in time, Shukan. The exception are going to be the special covers. I think I still have 1, maybe 2 special covers for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. The other special covers I do not have. And for anyone out there who might want a special cover for Eberron when it comes out in November, I can take a pre-order for it because I can only get so many of those in. Okay? So just bear that in mind. Now, what is this character's flaw or secret? Now, as a villain, there's like this more mechanical, a more crunchy form of weakness. A fluffy form of weakness. Something that maybe you can use to... It's that crack in the facade that you can dig at until you learn, oh, this person isn't as he or she seems. Let's roll a d12. We rolled a 10. Oh, a secret crime or misdeed. What? Ah, haha. I think I might have some larger than normal D20s, Shukan. Otherwise, I can check a distributor and get back to you. I'd have to look. I couldn't tell you offhand, Shukan. I might have a beach ball-sized inflatable D20. I'll have to check and see if I have any of those left. They're really good because you can whip them at someone you don't like, and it hits with all the impact of a beach ball. That being said, you can play in the pool and toss it around. A secret crime or misdeed. It doesn't help. Are you kidding? It's great stress relief to whip one of those things at someone. If I get the inflatable D20s, I'll let you know, Delcorin. A secret crime or misdeed. What if in a world what if this person was another member of the River Pirate crew who also broke away and went to another life? Though this one is more of a schemer, a toady, an infiltrator. Oh, you want a Zozekihedron gaming as usual? The one that looks like a golf ball? They can take a while to stop, but they're a lot of fun. There's actually like little, I don't think it's rice or something. There's something inside though to help it slow down. Plus it provides a nice kind of like a crunchy sound as you're rolling it. Because you're getting like these little granules of plastic or something rolling around on the inside. But you definitely want a very flat surface and extra time for it to stop and for you to read the number that's on top. So we have a possible link to one of the NPCs. Oh, pardon my yawn. We have a possible link to one of the NPCs. Now, of course, this could be a whole slew of anything else. What do we need the villain to do? When you're approaching a villain this way, and you have a set of random prompts, we have a lot of interfaces that are coming off of the villain to interact with whatever we need to fill. We got to get the story machine moving. We have created a flexible piece that is going to go between the gears to facilitate that. Oh, the weird dice sets? Yeah. A D7 is a lot of fun. You know, if you want a random day of the week, or, you know, there's other things too. Like, yeah, I have 7 spells on my list. Which one am I going to memorize? Oh, pardon me. Now that we have this... Oh, unusual hair color should go under appearance. We can go further if we want more detail. This is definitely enough to act as what I call plot putty. And we apply plot putty and we squeeze it into all the little places that we need it to make a contiguous story. If you want to take the next step, again, you could go to a character generator like this and do some quick rolls. So here we have someone who's a schemer, could be from the inside. However, we have said that there's a benefactor outside as well. And so we could either do the, let's do for this villain the 3 races. So it's either the drow, the half-drow, or the Stygian tieflings. A drow. And percentile, we have a male drow. Not worried about the level, not worried about ASIs. Background. Roll an 18-sided die. How did this person get to be a schemer? 14. A sage. Oh, so of course we have knowledge. And so in particular, there are 8 different sages. Sage 2. If that is alchemist, I'm gonna lose. If I was wearing a wig, I would flip my wig. Let's check it out. Chapter 4. Let's scroll to Sage. An alchemist is 1. Ooh, an astronomer. Interesting. An astronomer. Yeah, they absolutely do, Shukan. You are correct. Now, how else are we going to work with this? What is our class? 4. We're a druid. Okay, well, that'll definitely play into acid as well. And odds are evens. Evens. We are a moon druid. That's an astronomer, of course. Why not? It writes itself. Why would I doubt this? I didn't doubt it, but, you know, it sounds fun to say that way. And our drow is an adult drow. So we are making a 263-sided die and adding 18 to it. 235 years old. Now, why would age be important? Hi, Pink is Swag. Welcome. Well, what has this person seen in all those years? What has he experienced? What is the length of the schemes that this person has put into play that may well come to a coalition or to solidify here? Is this the appointed time? We have an astronomer. Is this bringing something cosmic now? Is this bringing something a little bit beyond, which could have us look into the mystic bargain? Remember that the drow that are here worship Elistray. Could the time be right for Lolth or another goddess to come and wipe out these survivors that have fled to the corners of the earth? Hi, Pink. Could you do me a favor and not spam letters into chat? I would definitely appreciate it. This is my final request. Well, you know, I appreciate you joining us, and you know, if you wanted to roleplay something that was like, oh, what if it's a code? What if it's something like that? Pink, you absolutely could have had the spotlight on the stage. And I would love to hear those ideas. However, spamming single letters like that can be distracting. And after being asked to stop and you continuing, there's some kind of a disconnect. And so there's a timeout that's necessary in that regard. When the time passes, hopefully if there's something that you wanted to convey, we'll talk. Enjoy the show, sit back. Maybe this is inspirational. Hopefully you've been able to play D&D before. And if not, ask questions. Engage in conversation here. But this is not the place to just show up in a stream and start typing random letters. And of course, I mean, you have to consider, you know, what if it was, I mean, a cat could have gotten on a keyboard, you know, it could be someone at their computer holding a baby or something like that. So, I mean, it's not necessarily killing them with kindness. It's, you know, things can happen. You ask politely because things happen. And if it continues, well, let's say that it is a cat on a keyboard. Well, the cat hasn't gone away, and the cat's not going to respond no matter how nice or rude. But why be rude if you don't have to? And so, if you just, you know, give the moment, or you give that opportunity for the moment to pass, and the cat leaves the keyboard, or the baby stops going boop 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 on whatever, then maybe that's all it was, and no one's out anything because we're civil. Their cat stepped on the keyboard and it was pressing enter and up and span. Yeah, exactly. So it happens, and it's understandable. So, you know, it's not necessarily a hard feeling, but things happen. You know, things fall on keyboards and open up Google, whatever, like Google Chrome help menus. Speaking of which, I better just put this over here. Encyclochameleon, yeah, cats. Hey, we're having a lot of cat butt on this stream earlier. She was all over, absolutely. In fact, we even have a cat butt emote because it just happens. So now we have this character that exists in the world, seems to be more of maybe like a sub-boss in Metaspeak. Someone who's a facilitator, and of course has intrinsically created other villains, or other NPCs, or a little bit of both. A mysterious crime in the past, loyal to a benefactor. And so, of course, who would benefit from the manipulations this schemer is employing? Right? He's trying to win favor with a powerful individual who perhaps is even above the benefactor. The benefactor just enabled this person to wedge in the beginning. And now what we can do... Oh, I should have done this from the beginning, but still. We're going to take a similar idea, though this time, much like we did with the NPCs we generated tonight, we are going to preload the concept and then see how the details shake out. Because we also know something about another villain. Because we have generated a villain yesterday. When we go back to our settlement concept, and we were talking about what kind of a dungeon are we building towards? It was created by a lich. Or that lich was created because the original creators were destroyed by internal conflict. The one on top perhaps got undeath out of it and is now scheming. And if we're talking about a colony of Elistray drow worshippers, the one moving in could very well be Lolth or some of the others if we want to have a fun campaign that dances around the other members of the drow pantheon. With this, we can take this information to keep consistency. And so our adventure villain is a lich of some kind. The conflict could have even been one of the group wanted to step up and have life eternal, and the rest of the group said no. This crystal is not meant to harness those powers. And in Chameleon, if you missed it, we made a settlement for our dungeon, like a region, and we also mapped it out in order to help continue to inspire ideas in us. And a dungeon is very good at explaining stuff like that happening, by the way. So in Chameleon, you're onto something good here. So, in particular, for this villain, we can roll, like, we'll come back to the character creator here. And some of those details, if we want it to be specific, sure. This is our villain to be specific. Not that you need permission to do so. It's your story, your villain. But as we're preloading the concept, let's generate that first. And then we'll add on the other random rolls to make the lich more personable. Someone who is more understandable. Because, of course, the best villains are ones that make you uncomfortable because maybe you get to know them and maybe their ideas aren't that bad. Lich villains are always the best. My BBG is going to be a supercharged wizard, but if they're good, they'll have a great worm and a master rogue as allies. Ooh, those are very good rewards. All right, percentile. We have so this is a female, and I'm going to open this up to not just the races that we had established in the region, which are drow and tieflings. Specifically, we flavored them as Stygian tieflings, ice tieflings. And then, of course, the minority race we rolled were half elves, so half tiefling, half elf in this colony of survivors. However, as we noted with one of the NPCs, there are other races that live beyond this Arctic caldera lake confine. And so this is a lich of D9 plus 0. Don't need to modify that. 5. 2, 3. A half elf. Oh. What if this has been tried before? What if this has been tried before? What if this ancient lich actually might have come from the first time something like this happened? We're building history. So in this case, is this another half-drow lich? Female half-drow lich. I'm not worried at all about alignment, level, or if we're replacing ASIs with feats. What is her background? Again, we could pick. Maybe this is the free form, but I'm still going to roll randomly. I think we can create some very compelling stories by continuing this trend. 12. A noble, specifically a knight. So some kind of a death knight, perhaps. Now, I'm going to, well, all right. Well, Pink, hopefully the timeout would have helped. But whatever's going on, whatever's happening here, I hope you can get it fixed. Now, a noble... Pink is a bot account? Okay. Well, if it was sitting there trying to send it the whole time, you know, if it is indeed a bot like Gaming is saying, not that I have a reason to doubt you, Gaming. You know, we tried to be considerate as if it were a human or a human at the keyboard, but a new account only following top 31 streamers. All right. Good eye, Gaming. Good eye. I did a campaign where the party was tricked by a socially powerful leader who, thinking a particular lich was a big bad evil guy, and the party did all these deeds for this guy. After several hints and 6 months of weekly sessions, the players started cluing in that they were doing evil in the world. Noble knight fallen to the curse of undeath. Now that's a compelling villain. And this is where we can also decide that background gets either position of privilege or a retinue. Or in this case, it'd be like a squire and some other people to attend. And we can, you know, we can continue generating, or we can roll for it. Honestly, let's roll for it. If it is odds, it's position of privilege. If it's evens, there's a followers. Odds. And now, let's determine the class of this character. Roll a d12. 4. We roll another druid. And in particular, this is... Aha. This is a land druid. Druids make very powerful enemies, by the way. Yeah, exactly, Insight. By the way, here's the other cat butt. So if you all have the emote, you're welcome to spam it. As I'm getting slowly caressed by a cattail. Hi. What you doing, bud? Yes, thank you. So a female half-drow, lich, knight, land druid. Who needs a horse when you're your own mount? In fact, I might be able to argue that what if this person might have been the template, like the first kind of fusion that would end up making a Drider or other kind of Underdark style centaurs. Yeah, do it, Encyclo. Absolutely, have fun with it. Have fun with it. Hi, bud. Now, if this, this person, we could bring up things, frozen in ice, and we could say the ice monger. Oh, hi, you're on my keyboard. Yeah, I love you. The ice monger dug too deep. Maybe stirred this up. Yeah, speaking of a cat on the keyboard. He's a big cat, and he's laying on just this strip of desk that's between me and the keyboard. And he tries doing it. He's braced against me, so he's not completely even on the desk. So we have this idea about what is going to be happening. Like, who is this person? Who is this lich I see staring straight back at me? And we have a musical montage in this reflected crystal. Well, he hasn't been on camera at all tonight. Now we can open our Dungeon Master's Guides and go back. Here the villain, well, we already assigned it that it is it's an undead with any agenda, so we assigned it as such. So now we can go to page 94, and again, if you want to fill these slots in yourself, go ahead. But what is the villain's scheme? What is going to happen here? This is probably the big bad evil guy, generally of the story, but of course, the big bad evil guy is going to feature somewhere in the dungeon. Let's roll a d8. We rolled a 7. Revenge. Also revenge. For what? 3. Avenge the death of a loved one. Ah. Could this have something to do with maybe the original settlers here in the volcano? Or the disappearance of the first people? Then, of course, there were the natives that came afterwards, such as we're considering them. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, gaming. Now, what is his method of obtaining, or her method of obtaining revenge for the loss of a loved one? Here is an entire list of villainous methods. Roll a d20. We rolled a 20. Warfare. Uh-oh, war's breaking out. And in particular, with a 1d6, we rolled 3. A massacre. Something is brewing. A massacre is going to occur in this otherwise beautiful Asian themed area. Had this caldera lake, great force of natural beauty and power. And this druid has woken up. and is going to cause a massacre in revenge for the death of a loved one. Okay, oh, seeing a fish? Oh, I guess I can see it, right? There's the eye and the fins kind of come back. War. Massacre. Now, this villain has a weakness. And that weakness is... We rolled a 1. A hidden object holds the villain's soul. Is that object in the dungeon we're creating? Or does the dungeon lead to it? Or even just offer a clue, if not a passageway? Yeah, massacre doesn't have to mean everyone. You want to leave a couple people alive to run ahead of the horde and spread the word. Or it could just be... I mean, a massacre could be like Passover. You put the lamb's blood... Oh, sheeps, I hope you're not listening. You put the lamb's blood on your door, and, you know, the angel of death is going to pass you by. But if you don't, you know, for those who go with the story, that was a massacre. Absolutely. It didn't even have to be a bloody one, but it was still a massacre. Lover was killed in a massacre in an ancient war. They were gravely wounded and accepted a bargain for undeath to live until something star-aligned happened again. When they awaken to take their revenge. Ah, so you can work the sub-boss, the astronomer, who was also a druid, by the way. And also a... so we have a drow as the kind of the sub-boss. But yes, could be working towards this. Knowingly or unknowingly. You know, just because, you know, someone older than you knows the stars must align doesn't mean that someone who comes down the road 800 years later or whatever also doesn't know that the stars are going to align and has their own agenda. Could be a massacre of the livestock. It could be a reactivation of the volcano. It could be that, you know, to bring someone back, there needs to be a certain number of lives taken in return. And so everyone is at risk at being killed and sacrificed so that this half-drow can have her lover back, whoever he or she is. Raichi, you are beautiful and wonderful, but my goodness. He's all but turned inside out here. Just, like, almost on his back. Legs kind of curled. He's purring. Oh, my gosh. Now, his occupation and or her occupation and history, we could fill this in. I mean, we could have filled this in before we did any of this. Probably the original ruler of the place. Ruled alongside her significant other. Or a loved one doesn't even just have to be a significant other. A loved one could be a sibling. A son or a daughter. The death of a loved one could be, if we want to take it in a faithful, the death of a god or a prophet that you love with religious fervor. And so that's the beauty of these prompts that we generate, is we can take this in all kinds of directions. You had a player character massacre all the birds that he's seen. Why is that? They're a land druid. Massacre. Oh yeah, it could be a destruction of the land. So you're not even looking at the animals or even the humanoids. You're looking at the land, the very land itself. And so, you know, would you blight the world to, you know, would you rule a blighted world if it meant ruling by the side of your lost loved one? So sure, you know, it's a desolate rock, but at least you're there with him or her. That could be very compelling. Hark says sacrifice all with a reactivating and erupting volcano. Yeah. What better way to cover the world anew than by activating a volcano and smothering everything in lava? Only because in random encounter chart I added players got hit by droppings from flying creatures. Almost like bird droppings hitting someone. The player was crapped on by a flock of griffins. Oh, jeez. Maybe they were going to become a god, but their prophet, who was giving most of the power, was killed, ruining the magic and turning them into a twisted undead. Oh, yeah, so kind of like in the Imhotep, kind of from the Mummy, the Brendan Fraser one. The good one. So we can fill this in with whatever, because this villain, we already have an idea of what's going on with her. Hey, that's fine, gaming. It makes the world memorable and come alive. And oh no, your players are having fun and remember their time with you. What? All right, so now that we have this, let's add some detail. So now we are going to go back to the NPC section. What is an interesting appearance feature? 7. Missing teeth. Does this play into something? Why are the teeth missing? Is it a part of something? Are her missing teeth holding her soul in another location? All 5 of my players in my games, I have basically a villain sub-boss that's specific to their background just to make it special. Oh, I hope they really like that engagement, Encyclic Chameleon. You think they were ripped out by an evil fae? Oh, are we getting the fae involved now? What are her abilities? 2d6. 5 and 3. High wisdom, well, you're a druid, and low constitution. That old gray mare just ain't what she used to be. What's a talent she has? And wouldn't it be compelling you describe this villain? You know, she's descending from her throne, or she's emerging from the icy crypt beneath the floor. And as she's doing so, she whistles or plays an instrument or becomes disturbingly human. I mean, like, in the general sense. Not just an easy, well, you're the bad guy and we'll defeat you because you're the bad guy. 4. A perfect memory. Someone who perhaps has been frozen and seen everything pass with the agonizing, slow torture of years and undeath. And she remembers, and that is driving the revenge. Her mannerism. She has a mannerism. She acts in a particular fashion. 20. She also twirls her hair or tugs her beard. Is this an indication that the sub-boss, who of course had a similar mannerism, may be ingratiated to this person as a matron, I guess, in this case? Look, when these things happen, I mean, sure, it's a 5% chance, but if these things happen, roll with it. The story is writing itself for you, right in front of your eyes. How does she interact with others? We roll a 12. 2. She is arrogant. I have to type around my cat. Now, useful knowledge, I bet she has a ton. She's the villain. She's... you don't have to make her monologue it, but she's going to have information. Now, what's her ideal? Well, getting revenge would be an ideal, but also, what kind of a world does she want to be in? Ah, yes, a world of change. We went 1, 2, 3, 4. Good, evil, lawful, chaotic, and number 1 is change. And her bond. Her bond is what? 1. A forbidden love or susceptibility to romance. James Asmodeus. Welcome. Thank you very much for the follow. All the things you're rolling really screams a fallen goddess of beauty. We can lean into that, absolutely, Encyclochameleon. She has an angelic voice that lures people in, tugs beard. After defeated, players find a belt of dwarven kind on her. This is just an undead Aphrodite. She saw it, someone pulled her teeth. So she has this bond of a forbidden love, and you know what? That bond is, like, cycles back on the avenging the death of a loved one. Doesn't that even have to be the current love? Maybe she has a current love. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she only had love for that one person before. Maybe, you know, she runs a harem and just it's infinite love in that regard. But she never really loved someone until that one person came around. Everyone else, you know, you do what you do. But it's not the same. Now, she has a flaw or a secret. And things like this, like, yeah, sure, finding the Lich's phylactery, bread and butter. You know, you're going to do it anyway. I get it. I'm sounding dismissive in kind of a sarcastic fashion. There are things that we might expect. They're a mechanical weakness. Now, a flaw or a secret, that is something that you could socialize to find out. Put clues together, like what Gaming as Usual was talking about, over 6 months. To random hiccup. To discover this person's not who she says that she is. In fact, why is it that the people in town can't really remember anything about her, despite them all acknowledging her? This warrants investigation. Flaws and secrets are that little handhold that you can just drive that investigation python into and open up and find what's inside. The flaw is she has a beard. I don't know, depending on who you're talking to. I mean, a dwarf would absolutely, she could have been called the Crescent Moon Beauty or something. Her half-drow nature giving her alluring dark skin but a bright smile. So what we were discussing, and actually Encyclochameleon, the remnants of the drow could have been the descendants of her followers, because we were saying that these are drow outcasts. And so they were probably worshipping someone like Elistray. Goblin! Hey, it's good to see you. Welcome back. And so what if this person actually is, question mark? The manifestation, if not of Elistray, as that goddess exists among the drow. Could be a homebrew one. Why not? This is our world. These are our drow. You're absolutely correct, though. That the main villain could very well be a goddess. And consider this, all right? We rolled that a lich is the one that designed the dungeon. Now, to a mortal, being a lich offers undeath, offers age eternal. What if, as a goddess, being a lich is something different? It actually means you have mortality. And of course, being a goddess, what a disgusting, wretched existence. with skin that could wrinkle or age, injuries that could leave marks. You want to talk about things? We have the concept of a lich as being like doop. Yeah, that's a lich, totally, 100% of the time. If you take it from the other perspective, if a goddess becomes their version of a lich, I mean, so what if this is a manifestation of Cord? Right? Cord is a god of strength in Greyhawk. What if Cord, in this case, is a lich because he's actually mortal? Even as a demigod or something, can actually cease to exist, can get hurt in feats of strength in combat. What if our main villain actually is a goddess whose powers have been sapped or stolen? And we have perhaps the perfect device which could have called to her the beauty, the moonlight, which was this giant crystal that we rolled in our settlement. Right here. And the dungeon is holding on to the spark of the goddess. And that's what's causing the beautiful refractions and all the supernatural things that have happened. Because the original people captured her, robbed her of her immortality. Not just mortality, but as a lich, she has the fear of mortality. At any moment, her undeath could be ended. Ah. But I got ahead of myself. What is her flaw or her secret? Roll a d12. 1. Didn't I already roll that? Oh! Well, we rolled a 1 for both. I'm sorry, her bond is her forbidden love. It's a good thing we rolled the same number. Apparently, Statisticus is on our side. Her bond was number 1, dedicated to fulfilling a personal life goal. Which, honestly, I think that only super cements everything into place with her as a villain. Or unlife. And is unlife to a mortal or an immortal, like what we were speaking? Or she might want to vanish, but in her particular way. I mean, she wants what she lost, and to end her story in her own way. And that's what comes to forbidden love. Or, well, that could also be the massacre. Or when the stars align, that's when she can ascend back to the heavens and get her power again. So she could be reunited with her lost love. And she's going to take revenge on the people who stole her from the heavens and has kept her from her love. And that is the massacre that will occur when the stars are right. Gotta love it when everything comes together. Exactly. We have a saying on this channel when we do this, because we go off of random prompts in our imagination. The story writes itself. Or, in short, Iwi. You know, you have Owo and Uwu. We have Iwi. It writes itself. IWI. All it took was a couple dice rolls and some imagination, and we have made an adventure that would be amazing. We have made a setting that is hauntingly beautiful and completely organic, despite being the product of random dice rolls. A culture that thrives. The people have a style. The people have a livelihood. There's an economy. There's a philosophy. These are religious people who are doing interesting things with interesting others for interesting reasons. We have a nice sense of duality. We have this big black mark of this igneous caldera lake, set in the midst of the wind-driven snow in this Arctic setting. Goblin says, I have a question, though. Did you use that character villain of the undead gambler dwarf? No. So outside of using those as prompts to generate a story or something else by the end of the week, I don't really run with the material that we produce. They are contained to a workshop and presented to others that if they want to take that idea and use it, that they can. But I don't run enough games that I can use all of the ideas that we produce. Well, thank you, Goblin. Grazie. Grazie to you. I'm glad that you appreciate it. Look, and it's not just me. This is a creative community. We all make wonderful stuff here. You know, I may toot the horn. Poo-poo, everyone get together. Let's put our brains together. But we're doing this communally. We're doing it with random dice rolls, and it's empowering. It's invigorating. You know, it's wonderful. Molto bene, Goblin. I'm already using an offshoot of this character. Yes. I would keep all the ideas in a PDF and put it out and use it random if you ever need one. Well, the ideas that we make here end up on our Discord. At the end of every week, I upload them there, and you all can download them for free. You can download this document for free off our Discord and use it as a prompt if you want. It's all saved there for you. All right, so everyone, we have had amazing ideas. We've done so much tonight. I want to thank you all. For those of you who... I'm out of gacha capsules. I popped them all tonight. So thank you. These are going to get refilled back up to 50 tomorrow. And the prize goblins are going inside. And of course, if you win one of the prize goblins, I will pay an artist in our channel on your behalf for a piece of art that you want to have made. And it could be whatever. It's your art with the artist, so I don't ask questions. It is already the end. It is 4:30 in the morning, and I need to get something to eat and then go into a pillow. Just do a face plant. We popped open boxes. We've had great conversations. We've had laughs. We've been visited by a very random bot that got banned. Thank you, O'Sheeps. And thank you, Goblin. Yeah, it is 4:30 in the morning right here. Yep, you are 6 hours ahead. Yep. I want that one so I can pay Dark Wolf to paint more minis. Which one, Delcorin? Did I miss something earlier? You'd have so many NPCs? Yeah, and none of you have to use any of this. I don't expect to hear back from you like, oh, I ran this, and I'd love to if you did. But none of you have to. Thank you for the follow, Encyclochameleon. I'm happy to have earned that follow. And for your participation, if this is your first time in stream hanging out or watching, or if you're lurking for a while, I'm happy that you gave us a chance. And I'm very happy that you stepped up and you got into this creative mood and you're throwing awesome ideas out there. Matacrunch, also, thank you for the follow. Yeah, hey, if any of you are lurking, I appreciate it. Follows are also very much appreciated. And especially as we're in September, if you find that I have earned a subscription from you, because look, I'm a business owner. This is what I do as a business. Well, not Twitch, but a physical store. A game store, like D&D and Magic and stuff. I will continually strive to do that. And for all of you that subscribe to the channel, on the third Wednesday of every month, I host a miniature raffle where with free shipping to a U.S. address, you don't need to be a subscriber or anything. If you're here and you enter the raffle and you win, I'll pop open a box, you win the contents, and I will ship them out to you. Or ship them out to someone else if you want. I mean, I don't have to know your name or your address. You can say, yeah, send it to my brother. I don't need to know it's your brother. I don't sell or track your info. But, yeah, it's my way of giving back as a thank you for all of you who participate, for all of you who believe in this community, who stepped up and you've given it a chance. That's what I do.